Hey guys, I'm so excited because you all are starting to receive your packages. And I just wanted to touch base really quick because some of the things that I had initially wanted to do, like paint brushes with mark making with natural things that you have in your environments. This is off one of Candy's palm trees. And this thing is like armor. It's so sharp and it hurts. But it's still so many interesting things. And I really wanted to do mark making with these. But what I discovered is they really just don't work as well with the watercolor for mark making. So maybe Candy will let us do another class sometimes. And I can show you how to do these with other mediums like acrylics, that kind of thing. And then, of course, I found these all around. So you probably have some of these. You should have some of these in your packets because I did just try to include some of those. First of all, because they're just so cool and interesting. And to try to bring in some of that nature aspect. So I'm going to, this is going to be real loud for a second. I'm going to put all these in here. And I'm going to pick up all these and set them aside. And so I can show you then. Okay, so I don't have one packaged like you guys. Now, just so you know, the girls all got like double packets and the adults just got like a single packet. That's because I sent a ton more stuff to the girls because I want them to be able to practice and yeah, just because they're the girls. So I was like, they should get more stuff, like, right? So regardless of what medium it was or anything like that, this journal was always part of it. And this is like a field journal. Now there's a company that makes them, and it's called the Faux-Dori company. So that's why it's called a Faux-Dori book, but people call them Faux-Doris. And this is one that I've made, and you should all have one of these. Okay, it can go either way. Now, the thing about these is you can see that they've got the elastic here, and you can adjust those elastics however you need to. Now, when you're with this kind of book, it was designed so that when you're out in the field, you can just slide one of these pages out and start working away. And then you can just slide it right back into your field journal like that. So super cool. And it fits, you know, it's such a great size. It just fits. It's easy to carry. Now, I left this on here on purpose because these are from Walmart, and this is like a little $2 book. I have so many of these, and I'm not kidding you. These are just my ones that I have handy. But I always have one of these. I've always had them in my handbooks. As an artist, you always need a little sketchbook and a pencil handy. You just, this must be the only one that I have sitting over there that's full. Okay, so you definitely need that in there with your pencil because when you're out in the field, you want to be sketching. But you don't have to put that there. And here's the great thing about these books. You can just slide this right out and then slide in. If you want to slide more pages in there, you can do that. If you fill this up and you want to get another one, at Walmart, the information's right here. And then these are just more blank pages because I want you to practice. Or, you know, I want you to be able to pull them out to practice. Now, you can adjust these elastics. Like if you don't like this knot right there, or if it's too loose, you can adjust that. You just have to fiddle around. So do whatever you need to make it yours. This piece right here is to protect. Not all of you got an album where out of this material here where it's so sturdy. This is a crocodile piece of leather and it's so sturdy. So these are designed so that they cover this edge. So if you have any pages, you know, from normal wear and tear, your pages start getting icky, and this is just a protector. So that's what that's for. Students all got a feather, and if you're asking about the feather, I will tell you about the feather. I love it. So artisans, when they're working, you know, our hands have so many oils on them. So even here at my desk, well, actually this is part of my sketch kit. And so when you have something and you don't like it and you scribble, I actually don't use this eraser either. I use a white one, but yeah. And then you don't want to take your hand because it's going to pick up all the oils on your hand and transfer them to your project. This is what, I'm not kidding you, this is what botanical artists use, actually, botanical artisans. And then they use the feather to sweep the page. So that's why that's in there. You've got a pencil ready to go. Yeah. Okay, so that tells you a little bit about how we got off track with the painting things. Now, when you finish a little Midori thing, you can, I don't know how many you'll want to put together till you call it good. But the girls all have, I don't think the adults have this many, but the girls, I didn't put this one in there because I just want to show you different ways to bind them, and I didn't do so great with this. I got one staple right. So this is just a stapler, just a long neck stapler. And then, obviously you'll want to figure out on a scrap piece first, but that's an easy way to bind it. And then I take a hammer and I flatten those. I flatten the little things there. Staples, that's what they're called. Look at me go. So you could just gather them like that, and however many pages you want to put in a book, that is completely up to you to decide. You could also put them together. I'm looking around my studio to see where my closest bound book is, and I see it. I'm so sorry. I should have had this ready to go. This is how I've got some, and then these, I actually put these in first before I didn't fill them up first. I bound it in here first. And there's pros and cons, but it's easier to work with them unbound first. But then you could take all of your finished signatures and easily put them together into a little book, which is so fun. So fun. I love those little books. So the girls got some other ideas as well. There's yarn, and none of them look the same, girls, so you all got different ones. I don't know why I have 2 yarns, but these must have been my least favorite. Yarn, string. To bind these, you could use colored jute. This is actually, I've actually made some of these little books like this and have bound them with that. Yeah, if you girls finish some and you want us to do a binding class where we bind them over Zoom, holler at me. But you probably already know how to do it, so maybe I should just take a minute and learn from you. Okay, now the really cool thing. Check this out. I just absolutely love. These came out of the ocean. These are from the Gulf of Mexico. And if you have any sand that seems like it's shaking around, these have been boiled and cleaned and cleaned and boiled, and I've shook them like crazy. But if you have any little white sand pop out, it's my fault. And the same thing with these shells. And some of the shells, it's so cool because do you see the shells hidden in there? Some of you might actually get some shells where these stowaways are hidden in the shells, and that just happens on the beach. And I can't get them out. I'll have to use some kind of a tool to get them out. Or you can just leave them in there, but it's just so cool. So even with the shells, if you have a little bit of sand, yeah, that's what it's from. And especially these weathered ones, because these are my favorites. They've just got so much character. But don't be surprised if that happens. So I love this idea, though, that you could take, and I did this so simple, guys. I poked 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, and this is wax thread. Now, and then I just pulled it through, tied it around there, pulled it through. This one for the 3 holes, they're in separate places. Now, not all of the holes that I did on these samples are in the same place. Somebody has them down here because the most of their binding was right in this area. Now, I also included, these, I don't know if I think everybody did get these colors. This is some wax thread. So it's pre-waxed thread designed for bookmaking. And that's going to give you a little bit, if you haven't used it yet, it's just going to give you a little bit more of an edge. It's not going to be so slippery to work with. And then the washi tapes on here are just fun things you can use for your pages, or we'll talk about that later. So that's what this is. And then, you know what, you could even gather some more of those together and then figure out a way to bind them like that too. But wouldn't it be so cool if you started doing these, even if you did once a month, forever now, for the rest of your life? Think of what your little book collection is going to be. It's going to be awesome, and everybody's going to want it, and just so cool. The other really cool thing is study guides. Like when I'm studying, when I have to learn dialogue for a conference or something like that, I write it over and over and over again. I journal it. I type it over and over and over again. You know, anything I can creatively. There goes everything. I mean, just the ways. There's so many ways that you could incorporate that, like just super fun little, I can't think of the name, for studying. You get it. You know where I'm going. So I'm just going to put that away. Okay, so these, you are not going to need these. You might need those. These items right here, well, you actually don't have these big, sorry, that's my little Phoebe. So these things you are not going to need for the actual class. You can set those aside. You're not going to need these for the actual class. And then I love mark making. Actually, I think I might show you some of these. So these are for mark making, and these both worked really well with watercolor. So I think that's why I put those in there. And then for our new girl, I just forgot her name. I want to say Lauren, but I'm not sure Lauren's the new one. Lauren got, I had samples still from last year's class. So Lauren, you got some of this as well. None of the other girls got this, any of that stuff, but I did try to send Lauren everything that we had from last year, just so she could get up to speed. I didn't send her the paints, but this other stuff I did. Okay, and then going off of the little books. Okay, so I have tons of paper. Let's just leave it there. I just wanted to show you another way you could take, so these are all cut for the moms and the people who don't know, the instructors. These have all been cut to this size of their Midori. So they can put them in there, they can start using them, whatever they want to do. But one of the things I really love this is about, because of the paint. This is Flavia, who is a known artist. And I love that you can see the paint texture, but I thought this might help you with when it comes time to mixing colors, or when you're, you know, just trying to put an idea together. So that is for you to completely construct any kind of little booklet you want to, based on the same idea. I just wanted to give you another way to take that idea and make it work for you. So none of your kits are exactly the same because I just randomly put them all together. True story. Okay, so I think we are good here. I'm going to, this is all about the beginning of the class, the papers, yes. I'm going to, I'll be coming back with what we're going to be doing next.